Stepmom gifted stepsister a new car for sweet 16, but I got nothing for my 18th, and she says I'm ungrateful. Hello everyone. I am James, and as I mentioned in the summary, I am 18 years old. My stepsister Emily is 16, and my stepmom Sarah has been married to my dad, let's call him Robert, for 8 years now. So basically, Sarah came into my life when I was 10 and Emily was 8. For context, my mom passed away when I was very young, around 5 years old. It was just me and my dad for a long time. He did his best, he really did, but it was tough on both of us. Then he met Sarah. At first, I was kind of excited to have a woman in the house again, someone to maybe help Dad out and be a bit more, well, motherly, I guess. Sarah seemed nice enough when we first met. She was pretty, she laughed at Dad's jokes, and she brought Emily with her, who was a shy little girl with big eyes. The first few years were okay, I guess. Sarah tried in her own way to be a stepmom. She helped with homework sometimes, though mostly Emily's because she said mine was too advanced for her. She made dinner most nights, which was a huge help for Dad. She even attempted to get me interested in some of Emily's girly stuff, like hair braiding and nail polish. That lasted about 5 minutes before I ran screaming to my room. I was 10, not 5. But I appreciated the effort, sort of. The thing is, even from the beginning, it was clear that Emily was the golden child. Everything Emily did was amazing, brilliant, perfect. If Emily got a B on a test, it was because the teacher was unfair. If Emily didn't want to eat her vegetables, Sarah would make her something else. If Emily wanted a new toy, she got it, me. Well, I was just there. I got decent grades, I helped out around the house, I mostly stayed out of trouble. I was just James. It wasn't like Sarah was actively mean to me. She just ignored me a lot of the time, or she would talk to me like I was much younger than I was. Like baby talk sometimes, which was super embarrassing, especially when my friends were around. Dad didn't really notice, or if he did, he didn't say anything. He was just happy, I think, to have found someone and have a more normal family. As I got older, the favoritism got more obvious, and honestly it started to sting. Like really sting. Emily would get new clothes constantly, designer stuff, the latest trends. I was still wearing hand-me-downs from my cousins or whatever was on sale at the department store. Emily got a brand new phone every year, the newest iPhone, of course. I was still using the hand-me-down phone Dad had when he upgraded, which was like 3 models behind. It wasn't about the stuff itself, exactly, it was about what it represented. It felt like Emily was the treasured daughter, and I was just the bonus son or something. This past year has been the worst, though. It's like Sarah has completely stopped even pretending to care about me. She barely speaks to me unless she has to. If I ask her a question, she'll give me a short, clipped answer and then turn back to Emily. If I try to join a conversation, she'll just talk over me. It's like I am invisible, or worse, like I am actively annoying her just by existing. My 18th birthday was in July. It's a big one, right? Turning 18, officially an adult, all that jazz. I wasn't expecting a huge party or anything, but I thought maybe, just maybe, my dad and Sarah would do something special. Maybe a nice dinner out or a small gift or even just a heartfelt card. Nope, nothing, absolutely nothing. My birthday came and went. Dad said happy birthday in the morning, gave me a pat on the shoulder, and that was it. Sarah didn't even say happy birthday. She just looked at me sort of vaguely like she couldn't quite place who I was. It was crushing. I tried to brush it off, told myself it didn't matter, but it did. It really did. It felt like a giant slap in the face, a confirmation that I just didn't matter in this family. I tried to talk to Dad about it a few days later. I brought it up casually, saying something like, "Hey Dad, thanks for the birthday pat, it really meant a lot." He chuckled a little and said, "Oh, you know me, son, not big on fuss." And I said, "Yeah, I know, but I was kind of hoping for a little more than nothing." He looked a bit uncomfortable then and said, "Well, you know, things are a bit tight right now. Work's been slow and we've got Emily's sweet 16 coming up." And that was it. End of discussion. Okay, fine, things are tight, I get it. But then came Emily's sweet 16. It was last weekend. And oh my God, Reddit, you would not believe it. It was like a royal wedding but for a 16-year-old. They rented out this fancy venue, a country club type place. There was a DJ, a photo booth, a chocolate fountain, a professional photographer, the works. Emily had a custom-made dress that probably cost more than my entire wardrobe. There were like 50 people there, all of Emily's friends, Sarah's friends, some of Dad's work colleagues who I'd never even met. It was insane. And the gifts, mountains of them. Designer bags, jewelry, gift cards, clothes, makeup, you name it. Emily was in heaven opening presents with this huge, fake smile plastered on her face, squealing with delight at every new item. I stood in the corner, feeling like a complete and utter ghost, like I didn't even exist. But the worst part, the absolute kicker, the thing that finally pushed me over the edge and made me want to scream and tear my hair out, was the car. Yes, Reddit, the car. Sarah and Dad wheeled out this giant, ridiculously oversized gift-wrap box. Inside, a brand new, shiny, bright red convertible. A convertible for a 16-year-old. Emily shrieked, jumped up and down, hugged Sarah and Dad, cried fake tears of joy, the whole dramatic performance. Everyone clapped and cheered. It was like something out of a cheesy movie. I just stood there staring, my mouth probably hanging open. A brand new car for Emily. But for my 18th birthday just a few months earlier, nothing, not even a card. Not even a happy birthday. Later that night, after the party had wound down and Emily was off showing off her car to her friends, I finally snapped. I found Sarah in the kitchen, cleaning up, and I just lost it. Well, lost it in a quiet, controlled, 18-year-old boy kind of way, but still I was angry. I walked into the kitchen and said, "Sarah, can we talk?" She sighed like I was bothering her and said, "What is it, James? Can it wait?" I am tired, and I said no, it can't wait. I want to know why Emily got a brand new car for her 16th birthday, and I got absolutely nothing for my 18th. She turned to face me then, arms crossed, with this condescending little smirk on her face. She said, "Oh, are we still on about that? Seriously, James, I thought you were more mature than this." And I said, "Mature? What does maturity have to do with it? It's about fairness. It's about feeling like you matter." And she just scoffed and said, "Oh, please, don't be so dramatic. Emily is my daughter. Of course, I am going to want to do something special for her sweet 16. It's a milestone." I stared at her, completely dumbfounded. I said, "And turning 18 isn't a milestone, becoming a legal adult. Starting college in the fall, none of that is important." She rolled her eyes and said, "Well, it's different, isn't it? Emily is still a child. 16 is a big birthday for a girl. 18 is, well, you're practically grown up already. You should be more independent." Independent? I am going to college in the fall. Dad and I have been saving up for years to pay for it. I have been working part-time jobs since I was 15 to contribute. I am about as independent as an 18-year-old can be while still living at home. And Emily can't even make her own breakfast without Sarah hovering over her, making sure she doesn't burn the toast. I tried to explain this to Sarah, calmly, reasonably, I thought. I said, "Sarah, it's not about the car. It's about the message it sends. It feels like you value Emily so much more than you value me. Like I am just some afterthought," and she just laughed. Actually laughed. She said, "Oh, James, don't be ridiculous. Of course I value you. You're part of the family, but Emily is different. Different. What does that even mean? Different how? Because she's your biological daughter and I'm not. Is that it?" I didn't actually say that out loud. I was too choked up, but it was screaming in my head. And I think she could see it in my eyes because she suddenly got this hard look on her face. She said, "Look, James, I'm not going to apologize for wanting to spoil my daughter on her 16th birthday. It's what mothers do. And if you're feeling left out, maybe you should try being a little more appreciative." Appreciative. Of what? Of being completely ignored and treated like I am invisible for the past 8 years. Of being made to feel like I am less important than her precious Emily. I just shook my head. I couldn't even argue anymore. It was like talking to a brick wall. I just said, "You know what, Sarah? Forget it." And I walked out of the kitchen and slammed my bedroom door. Hard. Dad didn't say anything about the argument, but he did come to my room later that night. He knocked softly and came in when I said, "Come in." He sat on the edge of my bed and looked at me with this sad, apologetic look. He said, "James, son, what's going on? Sarah says you're upset about Emily's car." I just stared at him. Upset. Upset was an understatement. I was furious, hurt, betrayed, all of the above. I said, "Upset. Dad, I am beyond upset. Did you see that party? Did you see that car? And did you remember that I turned 18 just a few months ago and got absolutely nothing? Not even a happy birthday from your wife." He sighed and ran a hand through his hair. He said, "I know, son, I know. It probably wasn't the best timing with Emily's birthday so close to yours." And I just interrupted him. I couldn't help it. Timing, timing. Dad, it's not about timing. It's about the fact that you and Sarah clearly value Emily so much more than you value me. It's about the constant, never-ending favoritism. Don't you see it? Or are you just blind to it? He looked away, like he couldn't meet my eyes. He mumbled something about Sarah just being excited for Emily and not meaning anything by it. Not meaning anything by it. Seriously. Buying your stepdaughter a brand new convertible and completely ignoring your stepson's milestone birthday is not meaning anything by it. "Come on, Dad." I said, "Dad, you're not blind. You see how Sarah treats Emily and how she treats me. You see how she spoils Emily rotten and acts like I am some kind of nuisance. Why do you let her do it? Why don't you ever say anything?" He just shrugged again, that infuriating shrug, and said, "Sarah's just Sarah. She's a good mom to Emily. And she tries in her own way with you. Tries to ignore me. Tries to make me feel like I am worthless. Tries to erase me from the family picture. Is that what he thinks trying is?" I just shook my head again, feeling completely defeated. I said, "You know what, Dad? I am done. I am done trying to pretend like this is normal. I am done trying to get Sarah to even acknowledge my existence. And honestly, I am starting to get done with you too, if you can't even see how unfair this is." He looked genuinely hurt then, but honestly, I didn't care. I was too angry and too fed up. I said, "I am going to college in the fall, and as soon as I can, I am moving out of this house. I can't live here anymore. Not with Sarah treating me like this and you just letting it happen." He didn't say anything to that. He just stood up, patted me on the shoulder again, and walked out of the room, leaving me alone with my anger and hurt and a deep, gnawing feeling of being completely and utterly unloved. So Reddit, here I am, posting on our relationship advice because I honestly don't know what else to do. Am I overreacting? Is it normal for stepmoms to favor their own kids so blatantly? Is it normal for parents to completely ignore their stepkids' milestones while throwing lavish parties for their biological kids? Am I wrong for being furious about all of this? Am I wrong for wanting to move out and cut ties with Sarah, and maybe even Dad, if he can't see how messed up this situation is? I know this community always gives honest feedback, so let me have it. Am I the asshole here? What would you do in my situation? I am feeling completely lost and alone right now, and any advice would be appreciated. Update 1. Wow, Reddit, I am honestly blown away by the responses to my post. I never imagined it would get so much attention. Thank you to everyone who has commented and offered advice and support. It really means a lot to know that I am not crazy and that other people see how unfair this situation is. I have read every single comment, and I am trying to take everything in. A lot of people are saying that I need to have a serious conversation with my dad, and that I need to be very clear about how Sarah's favoritism is affecting me and our relationship. Many of you suggested couples therapy or family therapy, which honestly, I don't see happening. Sarah would never agree to that, and Dad would probably just go along with whatever Sarah says. But I do think I need to try to talk to Dad again, and be more direct and less polite, I guess. I tend to downplay my feelings to avoid conflict, but it's clearly not working anymore. Some people are saying I should just focus on moving out and going to college, and cut my losses. And honestly, that's what I have been thinking about too. It feels like the only way to truly escape this situation is to physically remove myself from it. But it also feels sad. Like I am giving up on having a real relationship with my dad, and like I am letting Sarah win. A few people suggested talking to Emily directly. That hadn't even occurred to me, to be honest. Emily and I have never been close. She's always been Sarah's little princess, and I've always been the outsider. But maybe if I talk to her, she might understand a little bit. Or maybe she's just as spoiled and entitled as Sarah. I don't know. It's worth considering, I guess. There were also some comments suggesting that I should start documenting everything, keeping a record of Sarah's behavior and the favoritism. That sounds a bit extreme, but I can see the logic in it. If things continue to escalate, or if I ever need to explain this situation to someone else, having a record would be helpful. And finally, a lot of people are saying that I am definitely not the asshole, and that Sarah is a terrible stepmom and Dad is enabling her behavior. Thank you for validating my feelings. It really helps to hear that from so many people. So, what am I going to do next? Well, first, I am going to try to talk to my dad again. I am going to sit him down and explain, calmly but firmly, how much this is hurting me and how much Sarah's behavior is damaging our family. I am going to tell him that I need him to stand up for me, to be a father to me, not just Sarah's husband. I am not going to yell or get emotional, but I am going to be very clear about my feelings and my needs. If that doesn't work, then I think my next step is to start making serious plans to move out as soon as possible. I have some savings from my part-time jobs, and I can probably get a student loan to cover rent and expenses while I am in college. It won't be easy, but honestly, anything is better than continuing to live in this toxic environment. I am still thinking about whether or not to talk to Emily. I am not sure what that would accomplish, but maybe it's worth a shot. I will have to think about how to approach that conversation without making things even more awkward and uncomfortable. Thank you again to everyone who has commented. I will keep you all updated on what happens next. Wish me luck. Update 2. Okay, Reddit quick update. I talked to my dad. It didn't go great. But it also wasn't a complete disaster. Somewhere in between, maybe. I sat him down last night after dinner when Sarah and Emily were out at Emily's friend's house. I started by thanking him for listening to me last time, even if he didn't say much. Then I told him very calmly that I needed to talk to him seriously about Sarah and Emily and the way they treat me. I said, Dad, I know you love Sarah, and I know you want us all to be a happy family. But the truth is, we're not. And a big part of the reason why is because of Sarah's favoritism towards Emily and the way she completely ignores me. I told him about my birthday, about Emily's party, about the car, about all the little things that have been adding up over the years. I told him how it makes me feel like I am not valued, not loved, not even seen. He listened, he actually listened, without interrupting or making excuses for Sarah. He looked sad and thoughtful, and when I was finished, he sighed and said, James, I know Sarah can be a bit much with Emily. She gets carried away sometimes. And I know it's not always fair to you. I was surprised, actually shocked. He admitted it, he actually acknowledged that Sarah is being unfair. I said, you actually see it. And he nodded slowly and said, yes, I see it. I'm not blind, son, it's hard. Sarah is, well, she's very sensitive. And she gets defensive easily. And if I try to say anything about Emily, she just gets upset and says I am criticizing her parenting. And then we fight. And it's just easier to let it go, easier to let it go. Easier for him, maybe. Not easier for me, living in this house and feeling like I am constantly being compared to and found wanting compared to Emily. I said, easier for you maybe. But it's not easy for me, Dad. It's really, really hard, and it's damaging our relationship. It's making me want to leave. He looked even sadder then. He said, I don't want you to leave, James. You're my son. I love you. And I said, then show me, Dad. Show me that you love me. Show me that I matter. Stand up for me just once. Talk to Sarah. Tell her that she needs to stop treating me like I am invisible. Tell her that she needs to start treating me like a member of this family, not just an inconvenient afterthought. He was quiet for a long time. Then he said, I will talk to her. I promise, I will talk to Sarah. I don't know if it will change anything, but I will try. I said, try. Dad, you have to do more than try. You have to make her understand that this is not okay. That it's hurting me and that it's hurting our family. He nodded again slowly and said, I promise, I will talk to her. Give me a little time. I need to figure out how to approach it without starting a war. I said, okay. I will give you a little time, but not too much. Because if things don't change, Dad, I am serious about moving out. I can't live like this anymore. He nodded again and stood up. He gave me a hug, a real hug, not just a pat on the shoulder. He said, I love you, son. And I hugged him back and said, I love you too, Dad. So that was the conversation, not perfect but better than nothing. At least Dad finally admitted that he sees what's going on. At least he promised to talk to Sarah. I am not holding my breath that anything will actually change, but at least it's a start. I haven't talked to Emily yet. I am still debating whether or not to do that. It feels like it might just make things more complicated. But maybe, if Dad's conversation with Sarah goes nowhere, talking to Emily directly is my next move. I will keep you all updated. Thanks again for all your support and advice. It really does help to know that I am not alone in this. Update 3. Reddit, I have good news. Actually, really good news. Things have changed, and for the better, like dramatically better. So, remember how Dad said he would talk to Sarah? Well, he actually did, and apparently it was a much more serious conversation than I expected. According to Dad, he sat Sarah down and told her point blank that her favoritism towards Emily was out of control, and it was hurting me and damaging our family. He told her about my birthday, about Emily's party, about everything I had told him and more. He told her that I was seriously considering moving out because I couldn't take it anymore, and apparently Sarah listened. Actually listened. Dad said she was quiet at first, and then she started to cry. Not like fake tears, he said, but real tears. And she admitted that she had been favoring Emily, and that she knew it was wrong, but she didn't know how to stop. She said that she felt guilty about Emily's dad not being around, and that she overcompensated by spoiling her and trying to make her happy all the time. She said she never meant to hurt me, and that she was just clueless about how her actions were affecting me. Dad said he told her that clueless wasn't an excuse, and that she needed to make a real effort to change. He said he told her that he loved her, but that he also loved me, and that he wasn't going to stand by and watch her destroy our family with her favoritism. He said he gave her an ultimatum, basically. Shape up or I am out. Okay, maybe not quite that dramatic, but close. And get this, Reddit, Sarah actually apologized. To me. She came to my room the day after her talk with Dad, looking all red-eyed and puffy, and she knocked on my door and asked if she could talk to me. I was wary to say the least, but I said okay. She came in and sat on my bed, and she looked at me with this really sincere, sad expression. She said, James, I am so sorry. I have been a terrible stepmom to you. I have been unfair and thoughtless and completely oblivious to your feelings. I know I can't undo the past, but I want to try to do better. I want to try to be a real stepmom to you if you'll let me. I was completely stunned. I didn't know what to say. I just stared at her, mouth probably hanging open again. She went on, she said, your dad told me how much I have hurt you and how close you are to leaving. And I realized that I don't want that. I don't want you to leave. I want you to be part of this family, and I know I have to earn your trust and your forgiveness. But I am willing to try if you are. And then she started to cry again, and this time I felt something. Not sympathy exactly, but understanding maybe. I could see that she was genuinely sorry. And I realized that maybe, just maybe, this wasn't all her fault. Maybe she was just messed up in her own way. Maybe she was trying to be a good mom to Emily, but she just went about it all wrong, and in the process, she completely neglected me. I took a deep breath and said, Sarah, thank you. Thank you for apologizing. It means a lot. And yes, I will give you a chance. I will give you a chance to do better. But you have to understand it's going to take time. It's going to take more than just words. You have to show me with your actions that you are serious about changing." She nodded eagerly and said, "I will. I promise, James, I will." And then she did something that completely shocked me. She reached out and hugged me. A real hug, a warm, motherly hug, and I hugged her back. It was weirdly emotional, like a dam had broken or something. Since then, things have been different. Really different. Sarah is actually talking to me like a normal person. She asks me about my day, she listens when I talk, she even laughs at my jokes. She's making an effort to include me in family conversations and activities. She's even started asking for my opinion on things, which is something she has never done before. And the best part, she apologized to me for my birthday. She said she felt terrible about completely ignoring it, and she wanted to make it up to me. And guess what? She actually did. She took me out to dinner last weekend, just the two of us, to my favorite restaurant. And she gave me a gift. Not a brand new car, obviously, but a really nice watch that I had been wanting for a while. And she said, "Happy belated birthday, James. I am really sorry I messed up." I almost cried, read it. Actually, I think I did tear up a little bit. It was such a simple gesture, but it meant the world to me. It felt like she was finally seeing me, finally acknowledging me, finally accepting me as part of the family. Emily is, well, Emily is still Emily. She's still spoiled and a bit dramatic, but even she seems to be a little different. She's not quite as demanding and entitled as she used to be. Maybe she's sensing the shift in the family dynamic. Or maybe Sarah has had a talk with her too. I don't know. But even Emily has been a little bit nicer to me lately. She actually said hi to me the other day without being prompted by Sarah. Baby steps, I guess. Dad is ecstatic. He's like a different person. He's happier, more relaxed, more engaged. He's actually smiling and laughing again, which is something I haven't seen much of lately. He keeps thanking me for talking to him, for being honest about my feelings. He says it was the wake-up call he needed. He said he knew things weren't right, but he just didn't know how to fix them. And now it feels like we are actually on the path to becoming a real family. So Reddit, I guess the moral of the story is, communication is key. And sometimes, even the most messed up situations can be turned around if people are willing to listen and change. I am still cautiously optimistic. I know it's only been a short time and things could still go back to the way they were. But for now, things are good, really good. And I am actually happy, for the first time in a long time. Thank you again to everyone who commented and offered advice. You guys really helped me to see things more clearly and to find the courage to speak up and fight for myself. I am so grateful for this community. And I will keep you updated if anything changes. But for now, it looks like we might actually have a happy ending after all. So Reddit, AITAH for being upset about the birthday thing and Sarah's favoritism. Or was I right to speak up and demand to be treated fairly? Let me know what you think. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so and hit the notification bell to stay updated on more shocking real-life stories happening around you.